Welcome to the segment of revisiting techs and gadgets from the past few years, where we take another look and see if they're still worth buying in 2022. I've started with MacBook Pro 13 2017 and I will leave the link down in the description below if you're also interested in that. But for now, we will take a look at Apple's flagship of 2019, the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Right off the bat, in my opinion, the short answer to the question if it's still worth buying in 2022 is a big yes. If you want a longer detailed answer, please stay and watch the rest of the video. Let's start with design and build quality. iPhone 11 Pro Max features a 6.5 OLED screen, Super Retina XDR display with a resolution of 2688 by 1242. I know the size is not that massive compared to its Android counterparts. However, Apple makes the iPhone wider, which in the hand makes the phone feels larger than other phones. And the clarity and quality of the screen gives you a beautiful cinematic experience alongside its upgraded stereo speakers and brighter screen that can go up to 1200 nits. And then there's the infamous notch. To be honest, it doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. It is there and it was distracting at first, but I've gotten used to it and it doesn't spoil my experience in watching my favorite TV shows. In contrast with 12 Pro Max, which is a little uncomfortable to hold because of its angular, squared edges, 11 Pro Max, even though it has a large screen, is more comfortable to hold and carry because of its rounded and curved sides. It's a tad smaller than the 12 Max, only by a few millimeters, but with its reasonable size, it's not as gargantuan as the 12 Max. 11 Pro Max features the newest processor during its time, which is A13 Bionic CPU with 4GB of RAM. It still performs very fast. I haven't had any performance issues at all, and I never felt that I have a slower device when comparing to my 12 Pro Max. 12 Pro Max has a newer CPU of course, but with day-to-day use, I couldn't spot any difference. 11 Pro Max offers 64, 256, and 512GB of internal memory. My advice is to skip 64GB and get the 256 or 512 if you can't spend more, because sooner or after you would be running out of storage space and you would wish you had spent more to have the bigger storage. iPhone 11 Pro Max started the now familiar Apple's triple camera lens setup. There were a lot of memes about it when it first came out, but now it has become one of the most recognizable design element of iPhones. All three lenses stuck with the tried and tested 12 megapixel lens, and Apple proved that it's not all about megapixels. Resolution is not the be-all and end-all thing. It's the balance of the pixel size, the resolution, lens quality, software, and image processing. Apple introduced night mode in 11 Pro Max. They were very late in the game. Android phones were smashing it in terms of making a night shot look like it was taken during daytime through advanced post-processing. And I still think Android phones like Samsung, Huawei, especially Google Pixel phones, blow it right out of the park when it comes to night mode. Pixel phones can even take longer exposures, up to 3 minutes and 30 seconds, so stars shine brighter with them, so to speak. Let's go to software. Now, this can be very controversial because we all have our own preferences. iOS and Android have their own advantages and disadvantages, but in my opinion, iOS has quicker software update, more options of better third-party apps, and better after-sales service support. I will soon make a separate video about it so we could have a more in-depth discussion about its pros and cons. Poor battery life was one of the main complaints about XS Max, and Apple finally addressed this by upgrading to a bigger battery. Fun fact, iPhone 12 Pro Max actually has a smaller battery than 11 Pro Max. It's 3,969 mAh versus 3,687 on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I know you've heard enough of the pros of having 11 Pro Max, but what about its drawbacks and weaknesses? Starting with its price. I bought mine used for 2,350 Saudi Riyals, or roughly $600. It's not cheap for a second-hand phone, and if you're looking for a brand new condition, still expect it to cost you a fortune. The silver lining of that is the resale value. Used iPhones doesn't decrease its value faster than its Android counterparts. So if you change your mind after a year or two, you can expect it that you could still sell it and not lose a lot of money. 11 Pro Max starts with 64GB storage in the base model, which is enough for a few months, and you will soon run out of storage space. This was addressed by 12 Pro Max, which starts at 128GB of storage in the base model. If you need 5G, look somewhere else. 5G networks are still in their infancy, however, it's expanding rapidly and it's good to stay ahead of the curve. I'm not saying that 4G LTE is a slouch, especially after some advancements we've seen in 4G LTE. For me personally, it's not a huge deciding factor. So, in a nutshell, if you want a large OLED display, competitive triple cameras, and good battery life that's definitely among the longer lasting phones I've used for lesser money, I would sincerely tell you to consider iPhone 11 Pro Max. Find a slightly used one with 256 or 512GB storage. Do not even think about getting the base model. Aside from 12 Pro Max, no large screen iPhone can offer better hardware than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Now, if you really need 5G, you can look elsewhere. Okay, that's it for now. I hope this is somewhat helpful, especially to those who are considering 11 Pro Max as their next purchase. This is Hamid of Kael Khalil. Please smash that like and subscribe button and see you on the next one.